Over to you.
We'll call the meeting to order, the regular meeting. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Everybody's had a chance to look at the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I'd move to approve the agenda.
I would second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded. If there's no further discussion, we'll do a roll call.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
and District 5 not present. Passes.
Now we'll move on to approve the minutes for the November 24th meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, we'll proceed with the roll call.
District 1,
Yes.
2,
Yes.
3,
Yes.
4.
Yes.
Passes.
December 1st meeting minutes. I don't know if you guys got them or not.
Yes, I did, and I did review them pretty thoroughly, so I'll make a motion to approve them.
In my packet, I got the 24th twice.
Early.
Oh. No, I got both.
So did I. So I'll second your motion, Teresa.
Motion's been made and seconded. If there's no further discussion, we'll continue. We'll proceed with the roll call.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
3,
Yes.
4.
Yes.
I'll check that file and see if I renamed one of them wrong.
Okay. Consent agenda. Everybody has a chance to look over the consent agenda.
With that, I'll bring up the CARES Act funding and just go through the final look at it since that's on here. 1 second, share screen. Boom, boom, boom. There. Get that out of the way. Okay, you guys should see the chart. We just, some small changes as all the totals and stuff of expenses and things came in. When we look at for the technology upgrades and such, we had approved originally 254. After review of everything that Andy bought, we were able to include some cables and things. So just the number went up just a little bit with that. The drop site improvements in the west entrance replacement, the numbers came down a little bit because we don't have bills yet for the electricity that goes along with those projects. So those are things that we won't cover under the CARES Act. We'll just have to cover the electricity part of that later. And then all said and done, after dividing up the payroll categories, we've got the payroll expense of the paid sick leave and EFMLA, and the extra staff for the election and door attendants, and then the rest of that, is the bulk of that, went to cover the budgeted personnel and services diverted to to the different use to support the CARES Act. So all told, 302,000 went back into the county pot to cover the payroll expenses for those. EDA, and then again, some of the election stuff there. So those are the differences there. So just wanted to share all that with you so you saw the final numbers.
Question with regard to the 26,148 and 36 cents up in the drop site improvements. It's not yet paid, but it's okay to have that as an account payable?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So we're hanging on to that 26 to make that payment there. Jack?
Well, just a comment first. I hope Andy doesn't get used to this kind of spending. And secondly, I'm assuming purchases he's made, other than, safety type, will certainly carry forth for everyday use as we go forward and get out of COVID, hopefully.
Yeah. So the technology upgrades were a combination of switches, routers, and backup systems that support our ability to work remotely, but they also support our ability to work, period. And then a chunk of that was for additional surfaces, monitors, and things like that to support the remote teleworking. Some of which, we didn't want to get too far ahead of our computer replacement cycle. So that offsets some of what we needed to buy next year, but we didn't want to go too far into that and have too big of a lump of new computers to have to replace down the road 5 years. So,
Okay.
yeah, most of those are some pretty enduring purchases. Bob.
I have a question with regard to the consent agenda.
Mhm.
Third item on there, as far as that vacation carryover for Heather.
Yes.
Does that create a union issue, or is she non-union?
Union, and that's what's driving the need to do that.
What was that?
Tess, do you have anything to add to that? I guess.
I think the union is what drives that, having us give her a carryover.
Yeah.
Demand.
I'm sorry, can you ask the question again?
My question was with regard to the carryover for Heather on the unused vacation. Does that have an issue as far as a union from the perspective that it's a use it or lose it type contract, right?
Well, it's union as well as county policy.
Yeah.
So we have maximums for carryover, so the accumulation doesn't get too high in subsequent years. That's different than the hourly wage or salary is different in the year you actually, we don't want to keep carrying it forward to where it's different from the year you earned it to the year you actually use it. But we've had, this is not without precedent. When we had the flood response and other times when there's been emergencies, we've had a carry forward when the person was not allowed through because of the county needs to use their own vacation. So this is appropriate and I would highly encourage it.
Yeah, what this is an exception.
It is an exception.
Yeah, it's not, it really has nothing to do with the union.
Well, that's where our limitations are listed.
Mhm.
As to twice her annual salary is listed in there. But this is, we're asking the board to make an exception.
Mhm. And that's fine.
I have no problem with it. I just wanted to know
Yep.
if that would create a union issue or not.
Oh, I would think not. We've had precedent on it, and they'd be going against their own members' interest doing so.
I had one question that I was going to ask for Greg. He brought it up to me about the competitive search for an engineer assistant,
Yes.
and he was questioning the need for that, or
Yeah, I talked with Brian, and absolutely, it's not like they have excess time on their hands when they're fully staffed. And so we have it listed two ways in the event we're not able to attract the higher level person. But yes, their certifications are required for their daily work, so we either grow our own through a hiring at the lower level, or we might get fortunate enough, but it's doubtful to hire somebody in with that expertise. They're about as rare as hen's teeth, I understand. So it might be a difficult position to fill at the higher level. But yes, those certifications and that expertise is used on a daily basis by the highway department.
Okay. The other question, the purchase of the 2 portable message trailers, is that budgeted, Brian?
It was not an original budget because we had 2 working message boards at the beginning of the year. We did go through our budget, and we do have money within the existing budget. We don't need to go into fund balance. We got some little bit of extra revenue came in from the state aid maintenance this year over what was budgeted, along with we've underspent in our road supplies budget item. So there is money to use without going into fund balance.
Your current trailers went down or what?
Yeah, 3 out of the 4 that we have. So we've been buying used ones in the past, anywhere from 5,000 to 7,000 a piece. It seems like about every year you're doing maintenance on them, and they got to a point where they totally died and they're just unrepairable. Now you can't get parts for them. The one that is functioning has some pretty major, I shouldn't say it's really even functioning. The one that could be repaired has some pretty major repair expenses to go and get that going. Probably would last for a very short duration. We're unable to find used boards at this time, so now we're looking at new. It is nice to have these up to give warnings to people before they shut down roadways to do culvert replacements and stuff.
It's a safety issue. They're necessary.
Really reduce the number of phone calls as well for people complaining about shutting down a roadway and getting late to work or emergencies or whatever else as well. So
I just was wanting to know if it was budgeted or something capped and that you had the emergency deal. So anything else? Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
No moved.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? If not, we'll proceed with roll call.
District 1,
Yes.
2,
Yeah.
3,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
present and passes. Okay.
All right. Is there anything else that needs to become in front of the meeting today?
Now we've got the 3 action items.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's right. That is an action item. I'm sorry. I thought that was in the consent agenda. My mistake. Number 1, consider the Bolton Mink Design, Inspect, Administrator Culvert Lining Project at the airport for a cost of $2,200. Brian?
yes, so every 5 years we go out and we go through the selection process to select a consultant for the airport. During the last round of selections, we hired Bolton and Mink to have an agreement to help us out with projects. Within those agreements, we kind of tell them what type of work we expect to have, but there's no dollar amounts associated with work such as doing the master layout plan and the ALP and this culvert lining project. That's all done through separate work orders that fall under the master agreement. So at this point, I got a quote to get a master agreement or the work order for lining the culvert that crosses underneath the runway from Bolton to Mink. It includes pretty much everything associated with the project. They will put everything together, get it all bid out, do the inspection, do all the paperwork. The work order would be $22,000. Out of that, 90% would be covered by FAA funding, and 10% will be local. So the local cost is $2,200. So my recommendation would be to approve this work order and get them hired and get the project done this next summer.
And this is in the budget for 2021.
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
I just mentioned that if you remember at AMC's yesterday, Bolton and Mink was one of them that gave a presentation.
Mm-hmm.
A supporter of the association, which is a good thing.
If There's no further discussion. We'll proceed with roll call.
District 1,
Yes.
2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
and not present, passes.
Action item number 2, consider approving purchase of 2 more portable message trailers. And we've already discussed some of that, so.
Yep. So, yeah, so
Was
this
that- was-
is the 2 portable message trailers. This is for off the state bid. So this is the supplier that pretty much sells the majority of them throughout the state. Total cost $39,092. We will sell all 4 of the current ones. We do have the 3 that don't work along with the 4 that don't work. So we'll get a little bit of money back from that, but it'll be pretty minimal.
So Brian, when you sell excess equipment that you don't use anymore or want to get rid of, what do you do with that money? Is that just go into a separate pot, or does that go into?
It goes back into the highway department revenue sources for I can't remember the exact line item number and stuff, but it goes back into typically the county highway department's budget for.
So you could use that money to do something like this, or?
Yes, or it just carries over into fund balance the following year if we don't.
All right.
If it's unbudgeted like this, it'll carry over into fund balance.
So who do you sell broken down equipment to?
There's people that might want to buy it for parts. So, we might get a few $100 out of 2 of the boards that were the old style had the flip panels. The newer ones with the lights, maybe someone want the bulbs and stuff in there too, but not a whole lot of demand.
I have some old Christmas tree lights you can have too.
Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Then I'll
Which
second.
Bird's already had. Yeah. and
Oh.
seconded.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Oh, okay,
I
never
didn't
mind.
get. We talk over each other, then we can't hear it. But
No, all right.
so, motion's been made and seconded by Teresa. Any further discussion?
District
If not-
1, oops, sorry,
If not, we'll go to roll call.
got ahead of you, sorry. District 1,
Yeah.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
present, passes.
Thank you.
Action item number 3, consider approving the contract with Schneider.
Yeah, this is an extension of the contract. We did have to redo it. Schneider has previously fell underneath the MNCCC umbrella with this contract and has severed their ties, if you will, with MNCCC, but offering the contract at the same rate as we received originally with that. So mostly it's just a re-extension of the contract, and we'll keep our beacon geo-permitting, staff augmentation, and parcel maintenance going.
What's the rate?
I don't recall the total. off the top.
$3,000. Well, no, that's
No.
the setup fee. I'm sorry. That's just the setup fee.
1 second, I gotta find it. I don't have it.
Wasn't Brian from Beacon, Schneider, didn't he tell us that nothing changed? It's exactly as it was last year, just carried forward?
Correct. I just
Our Beacon hosting is $7,380, $7,380 for the year. The parcel maintenance subscription is $4,320. Our staff augmentation is $36,960. And I believe this must be the geo permitting, 2,490. Or no, that's the COLO, 2,490.
What's the total?
So the total for a year is 58,620. For year 2, 58,980. Year 3, 58,980. So no changes out to year 2 and 3, or minor changes from year 1 to 2. $300.
And that's all in the contract?
Yep.
Did we get a copy of that contract, or?
It should have been in the board package. Yes.
Is there a motion to approve the contract? Extension?
I'll make a motion to approve the contract.
Is there a second to that?
Second.
That was Jack, I assume.
Yeah.
Are we getting the value we expect out of this?
I think we are. I know there's been some discussion on the parcel maintenance side and the splits, and that's I've got a meeting with Jeff Lewis from Schneider or Brian Lewis to discuss that here tomorrow, I think, and just make sure we're getting everything out of that we can.
I mean, we talked about Mary and all the splits and all that.
Mhm.
Are these doing what they're supposed to do, or are we having to do their work and then send it to them?
I can tell you something on that. I was talking to them about that recently, and we do pay them to do it. And they said that they would return those to us completed within 48 hours. So that would not affect that 10-day thing that we have to have them turned around within 10 days. I want Jeff could kind of talk with them and see for sure, but they can pick up most of that. And as far as getting their pay, when you look at what we paid a GIS person to be in the office doing this and what they're actually picking up on their end, I think that they are providing whatever we ask them to do. We need to ask them to do more because we can.
Well, are they accurate, or do we have to check their work all the time so we're doubling up here?
I have never seen really anything more than what a person makes a mistake now and then. I haven't seen a lot of issues with it, and I haven't had anybody turn in a lot of issues with it. So I don't know exactly where all that talk is coming from. I can't address that.
I think maybe this is Eric speaking, Surveyor's Office, a little bit of clarification that I could provide about the Auditor's Office. Forgive me, Donna, for speaking out of turn, but Mary, when she does split, she does check their work, and when we assist Mary, she also checks our work, and it's kind of a collaborative thing, such that if Mary's putting her stamp of approval on it, she kind of wants to, and I don't know about duplicating the work as much as verifying it's, whether it's quality work or not from her standpoint. So I don't think it's completely duplicating the hours, but she is checking that work. And there have been some errors, but I don't know how they land in the realm of, in their quantity. If it's a detrimental deal, or like Cindy's saying, if it's regular human error. I haven't kept a tally of their issues in that process or anything like that.
One thing I could add is we again check it when we get it. When we get a split come through, we have to go through and determine what all the acreages are and all that through GIS also. So is this being where we're doing too many checkups on it? I mean, if we have somebody do it, whether it's Mary or GIS or Schneider at the first end, and then we're doing it at the back end,
So Cindy, you're thinking that Mary could go right to you and not use the surveyor office to do these splits, or?
No, I'm thinking that the splits come in, we go straight to Schneider, and then Mary pushes them through once she sees that they've closed and they look good, and then when they get to us, then we can sit there and look at them and say, yeah, they're off by something, or they're not off by something. But I mean, they used to go through Dan.
Dan, I know GIS always worked with Mary on the splits over in the past. So, and I don't have a problem with going along with Schneider and their technology, but I think we went backwards a little bit when we got rid of Dan and GIS personally. And I thought that everything Mary does, the auditor's office has to verify before it moves on to you or the recorder, right?
No, the auditor office has to verify everything that either Mary does or GIS does.
Right.
Because the auditor's office has to sign off on it.
Yes.
Commissioners, this is Donna here. No, very true. If we didn't verify everything, and signed off and send it through, then when you got it, you'd have to, ask us to redo the whole thing. So I think we'd be wasting a lot of time if we didn't verify it and make sure things were accurate. So that's my 2 cents, is we have to verify things to make sure that things are done correctly in order to sign off.
Right.
That's true, and I appreciate that part. But I'm looking at a split, actually 2 splits from back in August that still don't have acreages on them, so we can't process them. And when taxes went out last, a month ago or a couple weeks ago, these parcels didn't have values because we don't have acreages on them. And they could have sent this to Schneider and had it back in 2 days. And these were through in August 17th of 2020.
Cindy, I'm not following you on that. When did this happen, or is this something you need to talk to us about?
Deed log 43607 and deed log 43608 back in.
All right, we're getting a little too far into the weeds here. I'll let you two take that offline and discuss it.
Yeah, right. just contact Mary and I, okay, and we'll talk about it, okay?
I also think we did start a conversation with these offices, and then there was another meeting held that we weren't a part of. So we probably need to get it, back on track as to how we can make this work. I do think we get a good value from Schneider, and I do know that Dan also sent a majority of the GIS work to Schneider. He pulled together the information and send it to them, because I would come up with things, issues, of course, when I was being nosy out on GIS, and they do provide a good benefit.
I would just comment that, again, we're hearing about errors and so forth with no confirmation. Were there 2 errors? Were there 35 errors? Were they yesterday or were they 2 years ago? It doesn't tell me anything. I think that's
why I'm trying to work to put that into context.
When you meet with them, sit down and explain exactly what we want so that we're getting the entire bang for our buck. And if there are some errors, point out specifically what they are, when they were, and how they were corrected. I mean, otherwise this, we have errors. So, okay, so then we should hire somebody? No. I think Schneider is a competent company. I think we need to use them to the full extent that we can.
Eric again.
I don't think we're talking about, excuse me, go ahead, Eric.
Just relating to this contract, and I don't know what this looks like, but I do remember when we sat in the meetings 3 years ago, whatever it was, signing up for the staff augmentation at that time, Ryan, the salesman kind of mentioned that it wasn't as much of a lock-in for 3 years, but I think it was a lock-in for pricing. And if we weren't happy with the service, we could have gotten out of it at that point in time. If that affects your guys' decision on voting for staff aug or not in this point in time. I think it's lower risk than being locked in for however long you want to be. And Schneider's definitely, I think, one of our biggest GIS assets in the county. And, whatever faults they have, they're the best we currently have.
And if there are faults, we need to be working through, how we can make it not.
And help keep them accountable. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing I would add to that is I don't have any of these contracts in front of me, but all of their contracts that I've seen in the past, to the best of my memory, have an automatic renewal. In other words, that you have to give notice. They automatically roll over to the next year, unless we give them notice 30 days prior to that expiration. Now, I haven't reviewed all of these for this meeting, but that is a consideration, and the contracts generally have if you don't if you do want to terminate and you haven't given proper notice, then you're responsible for a fee. So that's another consideration. And when looking at this to determine what is the best mix of their services for the county, I think we need to look at what we've already obligated ourselves to, when we need to give notice, and how that all that will work together for that smoother transition.
As far as notice goes, these contracts are 30-day notice, so we would have had to let them know in November.
So it doesn't matter if we approve this or not. It's automatic. Is that what I'm hearing?
The contract says December 31st, 2000.
Yeah, but what Cindy said is that we need a 30-day notice if we weren't going to do it. So we're past the 30 days.
Well, they've asked us for a revised contract because of the split away from MNCCC. If truly, if we wanted to do something other than use Schneider for GIS, we're talking going out with RFPs, finding a new company to do it. Our entire GIS system would cease to exist and we'd start over. So it is a bit of a formality. But
and don't we have potentially multiple contracts, Jeff, with them that would
we do have several contacts with
that would
Schneider,
have
yeah.
to be looked at. So those individual components would have to be analyzed for what the contractual requirements are.
Yep.
Well, motion's been made and seconded to approve this contract. I think we need to move forward with that. And I have no problem with renewing the contract. What I'd like to see is this being overseen and headed by the surveyor's office.
Yep, and that's in motion, and will happen.
That will for sure happen.
Yes.
So, if there's no other discussion, we'll proceed with roll call.
District 1,
Yes.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4.
Yes.
5's not present. Passes. Thank you.
Okay, now is there anything else that needs to be brought before the regular meeting?
I'd like to give John just a moment to address you. Go ahead, John.
Good morning, Commissioners. I just wanted to quickly mention that the governor has declared tomorrow, December 9th, to be county, city, tribal, and state Health and Human Services Day. And just wanted to kind of get that in your record. This has been a pretty uncommon year for public health and human services. I know I've said it a number of times, but I think it bears noting here too. Our staff has performed exceptionally under some very, very challenging circumstances. I know I am extremely proud of them. I'm proud to be part of that group. And so I bring that to you today just as an announcement that the governor did declare tomorrow, December 9th, to be Health and Human Services Workers' Day.
So do you all get donuts?
I think we're going to do some sort of, I'm working with my leadership team to do some gift certificate kind of thing with them. So I'm working out the details of that here this morning.
Sounds good.
Don't try to take the day off, John.
Fair enough.
That's good, Jack.
Well, John, whether the governor declared it or not, we've always tried to show our appreciation for what you and your staff has done. So,
and you really have, and please know that that's really appreciated by our folks. You know, your kind words, acknowledgement of their efforts it really goes a long way, and I know they appreciate that. And I'd just say from my vantage point, it's well earned. They really have done an outstanding job. And even those who aren't directly involved with the public health response, they've covered down for others who are. And it's just a really a very effective team. And I'm honored to be part of them.
Yeah, and I'm sure it can be taxing and stressful, and you get overdone with emotion, and it can be tough, but they keep plugging away.
Yeah.
Appreciate all they do.
Yeah.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Yep, thank you. Now, is there anything else that needs to be brought forward before we
No.
adjourn?
Yep, not for the regular meeting on my part.
Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn the regular meeting.
Is there a second?
Second. You're leaning in, Jack. I don't-
I was waiting, Bob.
I keep looking at you two.
All right, we'll proceed with roll call.
District 1,
Yes.
2,
Yes.
3,
Yes.
District 4.
Yes.
Present, adjourn at 9:45.